Yeah, no, I think like if you look at all those metrics in the thread that I put out, the kind of consensus is that we're kind of lukewarm, right? In terms of, how like overheated, if you will, we are. We're not at, the bottom of like a bear market in the sense that like we have like insane amounts of room to run, but I think we still have a fair amount of room to go. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say.
I would ask too, like maybe this is way out of left field and it doesn't have any correlation, but is there any kind of thing that you can draw from? We've seen a bunch of shit coins, frankly, start to get a lot of volume and start to get a little
Yeah.
market exposure. Does that have any impact on the Bitcoin market or none at all?
Um, the way I see it is like Bitcoin is the the kind of the king in the space. And so when Bitcoin moves really aggressively, which I think we haven't really seen a real move in Bitcoin in that sense since like the end of last year, you'll start to see the liquidity flow out of some of these alts, right? And then I look at the altcoins from a trading perspective as kind of a derivative of Bitcoin. And basically, like there's a risk curve, right? And in a bull run, you can go out further on the risk curve. And so this is like something like Raoul Paul's talked about. And like I know all the Bitcoiners give him so much shit about like owning altcoins, but he's a trader, right? And so what he's saying in terms of like, I remember he came on your guys' show and he was like, I'm really heavyweight ETH. The reason is because he knows that we're in the second half of a bull run, and the further the further towards the peak of the bull run you go, the further out on the risk curve you can go in terms of the assets that you hold. And so yeah, I mean, I suspect that a lot of these altcoins are probably going to run, right, and you'll see these really large moves in some of these names like Solana, Ethereum, etc. I don't own those things. I own Bitcoin. But that's not to say that you won't see USD appreciation in those things, and they're way more reflexive than Bitcoin, which just means like in the bull run they're probably gonna outperform Bitcoin, right? And then, but in the bear market they're gonna dramatically underperform Bitcoin. And so I mean I think you just if you're gonna mess around with that stuff, like you need to understand risk and understand like how these things behave with each other, because at the end of the day, these things are really just kind of orbiting around Bitcoin. If Bitcoin absolutely nukes, well, the market's going to nuke. I mean, maybe you have like one or two coins that are like decorrelated from the rest of the market, but generally speaking, Bitcoin has a large move. The way to think about it is like altcoins being long altcoins are basically it's basically being short Bitcoin volatility, right? And so if Bitcoin's volatile in either way, then you probably don't want to be long altcoins, at least in the short term.